Hello friends, my name is Prasanna Gadkari and I help people to get into IITs and NIDs completely free of cost. I did my masters in design from Indian Institute of Science Bangalore, and today I am going to cover one of the important topics, which is what are the most important topics for SEED and UCEED. Now, this entire analysis is based on previous several UCEED papers. However, we know that the database which IIT Bombay chooses from is common for both SEED and UCEED, and there is some commonality between the important topics which you will find in both of the entrance exams. So, let me begin with my list of the most important topics that you should focus on for the examination and preparation of the same. Now, before we start with the list, let me just give you one small hint that this list is based on analysis and covers about 80 to 90% of the entire syllabus which is available on the brochure. However, it is no guarantee that the syllabus may not change, or neither there is a guarantee that the distribution of these questions will not change. So let me begin with any further ado. Okay, so let me start. The first thing you will be able to see is that in these 16 basic topics I have covered is the first one being area and volume. This is important because you will see problems such as the one enlisted below, which asks you to find out area of certain shaded figure, as well as there are problems which ask you that something is divided into equal volumes. Though you don't have to actually calculate the volumes, you have to get a judgment of the volume. The second important topic is the color concepts. Color concepts are important because a good designer is good with colors. And particularly in questions where color is prime motivator for the answer, you should be conversant with all the concepts of color. For example, the RGB, the Vibgyor, for example, Vibgyor colors are used here, then the different color schemes that you must be familiar with. The third important thing that frequently appears is missing figures. This is nothing but observations and seeing that what are the typical patterns that are followed. For example, in these two questions, you can see that over here, the missing figures are shown as a pattern, as a repetition of both in X and Y direction. Whereas this one is a simple series in which one of the patterns you have to select from the choices given below. The fourth one you will see is representation of icons and pictorials. Essentially, they are asking to see your sensitivity towards the correct use of icons and pictures. In this example, for they have asked that what is the correct association between the objects and the shapes shown below it, and you have to see the options and answer accordingly. Now, these are the kind of questions that are very frequently asked are the time, speed and rate. In some of these questions, you may not always have to calculate the exact time or the speed or anything else, but you will have to use the same logic that you will use for calculations. These are the two examples given here. For example, they have shown that a person is working and sleeping and doing some things in the day, while as you have to calculate that how many total hours he has spent in exercising. Similarly, they have asked in this particular question that a family is caught in heavy rains and how much time would they take to reach home with getting minimum amount of rains there. Now coming to the next point, you will see that there is a emphasis on perspective, and the concepts of perspective such as bird's eye view and worm's eye view are easily identified in this kind of questions where they have asked that how a specks kept on a table would appear to an ant and how a city would appear to a giant. The seventh is visualization and motion. By visualization, I mean that you have to visualize how an object will form after a certain set of operations is done to it. There are a lot of subsets of visualization questions, but I will restrict myself to the visualization questions which are shown here, which require 100% visualization and no other skills. The eighth one is counting. For example, they have combined the concept of perspective here with the counting. So you can see that they have asked you to count the number of squares that are under the section which is shaded green in color. In other variant of the similar counting, they have asked the number of surfaces that would be formed when you use something similar to make an imprint as shown in Y here. Coming to the next point is fonts and lettering. You must be conversant with different kinds of fonts and lettering which are commonly used in day-to-day activity. These fonts typically include serif, sans serif, bold, slab, and variants of those. But you will be able to figure out, if you know the correct fonts, you will be able to answer questions like this which require the knowledge. The mechanics. Mechanics are basically the motion of different objects and their association with each other. These problems can be solved by visualization. However, knowing the concepts of mechanism, such as what moves and in what direction, you will be able to solve these problems with relative ease. Next, the 11th one is difference and observations. So in differences, you will have to directly spot the differences. However, in observation questions such as the shown here, you have to see which of the reflections is correct. And in order to do that, you will have to spot the differences between the different shapes shown here. So you'll have to make sure that there is no difference visible in any of the reflection and the object that created it. The 12th one is counting. There are a lot of counting questions in UCEED paper and you have to be conversant with that. There are a lot of tricks by which you can make the counting process easy. I will share that in another video. The 13th important topic is logical reasoning. You will be given a paragraph or a set of logical arguments and you are asked to see what logical arguments fit well or whether they are true or false. This kind of question requires calm and stable thinking, and no visual clue is necessary for this kind of question. The 14th one is concepts of animation. Concepts of animation such as a man is holding a heavy box and how his legs will appear is what you require to know what are the different concepts that you will use that are based on animation. Walk cycle is another commonly asked question, and bounce cycle is also has been asked in the past. The 15th one, the second last, is light and shade. For example, they have shown that a single source of light over here is lightning and how it will illuminate the buildings in a city. Similarly, they have asked that there is a circular opaque disc suspended in the air and sunlight is falling from here. This is a point source and therefore it will cast a shadow on this table. So what will be the shape of the shadow? This requires knowledge of both light and shade as well as perspective. And which brings us to the last topic, which is very important, is folding and unfolding of sheets. The sheets could be of sheets of anything, but these folding and unfolding concepts are to be clear. And knowing all these 16 topics and studying them thoroughly, you will be able to answer and clear almost all of the questions that you will face in both UCEED as well as CEED paper. I hope this video was useful for you and you will leave your comments or thoughts in the comment section below this video. I hope that you have a great day ahead. Thank you.